Welcome to Pope's Plates. Today we're going to do the first in a series of non-traditional side dishes that you can serve at your holiday meals. I'm going to be making copper pennies, which are really carrots with some spices. And my daughter later will be making a corn casserole that I think you're really going to like. I've filled the pot with water to boil the carrots. I'm going to add a little bit of salt to the water. Carrots don't have a whole lot of flavor without salt. We'll turn the heat on so that it's beginning to boil. All right, the first step is to peel some carrots. I'm just going to peel them over here, put the peels over here on a cutting board, and I'll pitch them a little bit later. Or we'll give them to Charlie, one or the other. Once we finish peeling the carrots, we're going to want to slice the carrots into about a 1/4 inch slices. That will allow them to cook pretty quickly, and it also allows the flavors of the sauce that we're going to make later to blend into the carrots well. You'll see that I have a bunch of other carrots already peeled. I'm going to slice all of them now. And carrots are pretty thick. Be really careful when you're using the knife because these are pretty hard and you don't want to end up taking a finger off. I'm going to finish cutting the carrots and then we'll put them in the pot. I'm going to add the carrots to the pot. Oh dear, I think one went overboard. That's all right, Charlie's going to come and get it. This is going to cool the water down just a little bit as we add the carrots, but that's okay. I'm going to put the top on the pot so that it'll heat up again really quickly and get these carrots done. Charlie, look. Would you like that carrot? There you go. Good boy. All right, the carrots are done. I'm going to take a little bit of the carrot water that they've been cooking in. We have an errant carrot there, that's all right. And I'm going to drain the rest of the carrots. All right, I'm going to make the sauce now that goes on the carrots. We've added back the water that we took off. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil, maybe a tablespoon. Salt. I'm going to add some pepper. This is about a teaspoon of pepper. It's a fair amount of pepper. We may add more later. Also, chili powder. Cumin. Garlic. I only had jarred garlic. This is about the equivalent of 1 clove of garlic. And 1/3 cup of brown sugar. I'm turning the heat back on. I'm going to whisk this so that the sugar dissolves completely and it thickens just a little bit. And then we'll add the carrots back, making sure that each one of the carrots is covered with the sauce. I'm going to add back the carrots. Try not to get any of them into the stove. And actually, I'm going to grab a spoon so that I can stir these more gently to make sure that each one of the carrot discs is covered with the spice and the sauce. Okay. I'm going to let this come back to a boil just to make sure that all of the carrots are heated since they had been sitting in the pan with the drain. Just to make sure they're warm. All right, that's come back to a boil. Let's put them in our serving dish. Those look really pretty. Okay, to dress it up a little bit, we're just going to sprinkle a little bit of parsley over the top to give it just a touch of color. All right, the carrots are finished. I'd like for you to stay tuned for the next segment. Jennifer's going to be dealing with the corn.
Okay, didn't those copper pennies look fantastic? I love those, they're so good. and they pair beautifully with what we are making today. Today we are making a creamy corn casserole, or as our family calls it, corn junk. When new people come to our family or when they come to dinner and we call it corn junk, we get some strange looks. So we definitely figured YouTube would give us some strange looks. So we're going to call it a creamy corn and bacon casserole or dish, but corn junk. So you're going to hear me say corn junk. First thing we're going to do is we're going to get our corn on the grill, and then we will come back and do the rest. Okay, we're going to put the corn on the grill. We don't have an outdoor grill, so we're going to use this lovely grill given to my mom by my brother. Because I want the corn, which has already been shucked and the silk, the little hairy things have been removed, I wanted to have a handle for later. I know that might not make sense now, but I promise it will.
Hi there, Editing Jennifer here. If your corn for some reason doesn't have a handle, it is not the end of the world. You can use a fork.
Going to want grill marks on this. So I'm going to turn our grill to 375-ish. Because we want some grill marks and char, you don't have to oil the grill. You can, you know your grill better than I do. So we're going to put them on the grill, and I'm not sure how long it's going to take. I'm going to check them after about 8 minutes, but I'll let you know when they're finished exactly how long they take to grill. And this is not a two-sided grill, and so maybe 5 minutes in, I'm going to come and look at it and turn it over. All right, we're going to check the corn. It's been on the grill about 7 minutes. I've got some tongs so I don't burn myself. All right, let's see if any of the sides have any color. All right, as you can see, they're starting to get a little bit of color. I would like for it to be a little bit darker, so I'm going to put it on for about 4 more minutes. Then I'm going to turn it off once everything's completely charred. All right, so while the corn is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and chop. Usually I use a large, medium-sized onion, but I have half of a really large onion. And so I'm going to slice that into pretty small pieces. I already had a piece kind of on the side. And we're going to want to, again, make these small enough because they're going to be cooking in bacon grease, bacon fat, and we don't want that to burn. Okay, we've got our onions completely cut. And now we're going to go make our bacon, and then we'll bring our onions and everything over to the stove to finish our dish. That's not true. We have to cut the corn off the cob. We'll do that here on the counter so we won't make a big mess. But the next thing we're going to do is cut our bacon and cook our onions. So we'll be back when we finish doing that. All right, we are going to cook our bacon. One of the things we like on Pope's Plates is that we cook together. We use a lot of our family history. And today we're using a piece of family history that should be in the Smithsonian. I think it's been around since before I was born. This is the bacon Tupperware we have had at my mother's house forever, and so I recognize it. So we're going to put our bacon in. I think we're going to put 3 to 4 slices in, and then we're going to preserve some of the bacon grease, and we'll show you that later.
Okay, our bacon is finished cooking, and we are going to put it on a paper towel to drain. Again, I want to remind you not to get rid of the bacon grease. I think I've probably said that twice, maybe 3 times, but it's important that you hang on to it.
Okay, so you saw we got our bacon out. We have got about 1.5 tablespoons of bacon grease left. As you can see, there's a lot of grease, but we're going to need a lot to cook a lot of onions and corn. If you want less, you can use less, but we like about 1.5 tablespoons. Okay, one thing I want to remind you of, or tell you if you didn't already know, if there's any water on those onions, it's gonna pop back at you because of the hot bacon grease. So what I like to do is I put the onion in kind of away from me, and you can hear it starting to sizzle, but that will protect me a little bit. Luckily, we didn't seem to have much water. That'll protect me a little bit from getting, bacon grease in my face. Because it's bacon grease, we don't want to turn it up really high, and so these onions may take 5 minutes to get translucent. I'm not going to make you sit here while we do that, but we'll come back when the onions are translucent. You're going to want to stir occasionally, and I'll see you in a second. One of the things I love about corn junk and cooking it in the bacon fat or bacon grease is you get such a pretty color on the onions. They almost look caramelized even before they're caramelized. I love the way that looks. All right, now we're going to take the corn off the cob. I have a baking sheet and a bowl that I'm going to put upside down. I promise this will make sense. This came from Rachel Ray. This is going to help our corn not go all over the living room, kitchen. Theoretically, we'll see. So I have the little end, like I told you about, to hold on to, and I am going to remove the corn from the cob. And as you can see, it is landing in the baking sheet. Now, I am sure we're going to get some errant pieces of corn, but that's okay. And you can also see that some of our corn is charred beautifully. Some of it is just cooked nicely. And so that's going to give us such fantastic color. I am going to finish. Is there a verb for this? I don't know. Let us know in the comments if you know what the verb is for getting the corn off the cob. I'm going to finish doing that. But before I do want to tell you, if you don't want to do any of this, you can use 2 cans of corn. All right, our onions are finished. Our corn is decobbed. I'm going to go with decobbed. Still don't think it's right, but that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to take the bowl off of the sheet and just get rid of the bowl so it's not in the way. Excuse me. And then I'm going to add my corn. As you can see, the corn isn't completely broken up. So as I add it in, I'm going to listen to that sizzle. Sounds so good. I'll break it up. Also, you may have noticed a tiny bit of corn silk that was kind of charred. That's okay. That's not a problem at all. It's going to get charred. And it's hard to get every single piece. But, we do the best we can. And it's not going to hurt anything. It might even be good for you. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. It might not be. Okay. So now I am going to add about 8 ounces of sour cream. I love the flavor of sour cream. If you don't like the sour, you can use Greek yogurt. I like sour cream better. So I'm going to start with only putting in 1, maybe 1.5 spoonfuls. Turn this down a little bit as you can hear it kind of getting hot. Yeah, so as we can see, this is not quite enough, but I don't know that I'm going to need 8 whole ounces, but let's put in 1 more spoonful. Okay, so I added 1 more spoonful. That's going to get us. So I'm going to say that for what we had, based on the size of our corn, onion, everything, we used 6 ounces, maybe 7. Again, you hear Alexa? She said she didn't know if that was okay. It's fine. Don't listen to her, listen to me. So I think that's great. As my mom said when we were making one of the other recipes, you need to adjust. Recipes are kind of fluid, especially if you love cooking, and I love cooking. All right, so then we have that stirred in. Let's put this over to the side. We're going to add our salt. Again, you can use more or less. I'm using about a teaspoon of salt and a little over a teaspoon of pepper. I'm going to tell you a secret. When we turn these cameras off, I'm going to put another teaspoon in. I have a pepper issue. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, I'm going to stir that in just a little bit. And then we are going to add our bacon. We're finished. It's easy. It takes a little bit of time, but including salt and pepper, there's only 6 ingredients. Really easy. Let me get our bacon and I'll be right back with you. All right, so I have got our bacon slices. I'm gonna add about half of them in now because they kind of get coated in the sour cream, and when you serve this to your guests, you want there to be some fresh, crispy bacon on the top. So I'm gonna get these stirred in and then we will serve it up. We're gonna serve it into a serving bowl. I am messy, as you can see. Sorry about that. One of the fun things, which has nothing to do with cooking, is that I made this bowl, pottery. It's so much fun to eat out of something you made. I guess if it's pretty. All right, so the final thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna get rid of my mess here. We're going to sprinkle some bacon over the top. I'm gonna take a bite real quick. Oh, that's fantastic. It does need more pepper. You're probably not gonna agree with that, but it does. I love pepper. So I'm so glad that you joined us for the first part of this series. I think we've got 2 more in sort of alternative or side dishes that you don't use a lot during the holidays. I'm so glad that you came here today. Let us know in the comment section below, 1, what your favorite holiday dish is. And if you use one of those, tell us what you think, one of the ones we made. Until I see you next time, let's keep cooking.
Thanks for visiting Pope's Plates. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Click the notification bell so that you'll know when we have new videos available. And make sure you subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Until I see you again, let's get cooking.